Hello again, everyone. Today we're going to be working on some more textures. This time we're going to work with this cute teddy bear, and we're going to use Colorless Blender, your favorite brown combination, and a textured cloth. So it doesn't matter what browns you use or what colors you use, whatever is floating your boat for the moment. And this is basically what I would call the negative way to create texture, in the sense that you're going to remove some of the ink that you lay down with the Colorless Blender to create that texture. In the dragon one, we created the positive texture. This is going to be along the lines of negative. So I'm going to color up just his belly, otherwise it would take all day to watch me color. Yawn! So I'm going to do the modified color laydown technique, where I am putting the lightest color down first into the shadow areas, and I'm going to use an upper right light source. So the right side of his belly is going to be the lightest and the left side is going to be the darkest. And I'm going to come in with E39, which is my darkest. And I guess I should give you my color combo: E39, E37, and E35. So my shadow is 39, my midtone is 37, and my lightest color is E35. So I'm coming now in with the darkest color, E39, and flicking towards the upper right light source. I'm going to blend that out with E37, which is my midtone, and no need to freak out. E37 really is lighter than E39 when it dries. Sometimes it'll look darker when it's still wet on the paper. And here is E35, which is my highlight color for this particular combination. I'm going to lay down my second layer of color. I'm not too worried about whether the blending's smooth, because we're going to remove a lot of that with the cloth. I just want to make sure that there's good saturation of the color on the paper, so that when I go in to remove and move some of that ink with the Colorless Blender, it actually shows up. So, and here is E35. So your next step, now that you've laid down your color and they're quasi-blended, doesn't have to be perfect, is you're going to use Colorless Blender and a cloth. I'm going to show you first here just on a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to just jot down and scribble down some color. I believe it's E35. Just going to make a block of color so you can see what we're going for. Your Colorless Blender refill. I'm using the big bottle. You can use the smaller bottle, it's exactly the same. And a cloth with some texture on it. I believe it's a washcloth that I got from Wally World. And I'm going to put some Colorless Blender directly onto the cloth. And I'm going to always dab a little bit off to the side so I can control how much. When you first put it on, it's going to be very wet. So I dab a little bit off before I put it into my colored area. I'm going to press, not a lot of pressure, gentle pressure, and hold it for 2 to 3 seconds. The longer you hold it, I'm going to hold a little bit longer here, the more you will see the shifting and the moving of the ink. So if you're not getting any movement, you're not seeing a lot of the texture created, hold it for a little bit longer than what you think you have to. So I'm going to scratch down a little bit more color, and I'm going to pull out a different kind of cloth here. I'm going to do the same thing with the Colorless Blender. This time I'm going to use a waffle weave. Again, I think it was a kitchen towel I got from Wally World. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some Colorless Blender. I'm going to dab some off. And then I'm going to lay it over top. Here I'm going to lay it over top. And I'm going to just gently press. And I need a manicure. Yes, I do. And here you have the texture or the pattern that was created with that particular pattern, or that particular cloth, which was more of a cross pattern, or the little squares that you saw. Next I'm going to come in and I'm going to lay down some more color, but I'm going to use denim, a pair of cut up jeans, and I'm going to show you exact same process. There's the jean, you can see the little weave texture in the jeans. Put some Colorless Blender down. I'm going to pat it off to the side before I go in with the color. And now I'm just going to lay it over top. In the larger area that you want to cover, you're going to put more of the cloth down instead of just using the finger that we did with the bear. So there you have even a more distinct pattern that is looking like some jeans. So there's all kinds of things that you can do to create texture using cloths or rags that you have laying around the house. So there was the teddy bear, and on the left was the waffle weave, and then on the right was the jeans. So experiment, play around, do all kinds of things. So let's get back to Mr. Teddy Bear. So you saw how I did it with my finger and the colorless blender and the cloth. I'm going to dab a little bit down here off to the side, and then I'm going to come in. I'm going to hold it. I probably press a little bit too hard, and the harder you press, the more that the cloth is kind of squished and it's not getting the perfect texture or the exact dots that you want. But I can always go back in and correct that. Anytime that you don't like the texture that you created, you can go back in and color right over top of it. So have fun, experiment, play. This isn't meant to be perfect. It's meant to be fun. It's just paper and ink, markers. So enjoy. If you have any questions, shoot me an email or have a comment. Thanks.